Well, hi and welcome back to A Boat Called Wanda. Well, first of all, thank you very much for all the questions and comments that I've received over the last couple of episodes. There's one question that I'd like to expand upon a little bit more now, and that's the question of why I'm getting Wanda in the water in April and what the deadline is, and whether or not I might be better off getting Wanda finished first on the hard and then launching her into the water. The main reason that I'm motivated to move Wanda into the water by the end of April is the boatyard have a policy of allowing all berth holders 8 weeks free on the hard. And beyond those 8 weeks, they've now introduced a 50% surcharge or addition to the rates for being on the hard. And that's really because they don't want the boatyard to be used for long-term projects or refits or repairs, because ultimately that can often lead to having a little bit of a boat graveyard in the corner. And yeah, so to discourage that, the boatyard has put up this surcharge. And to be fair, they've been really good with me because I've been there for 3 years now and they've not increased my rate. And I guess that's because, you know, Wanda looks pretty clean and tidy and new from the outside with the new paint job. And I've tried everything I can to keep my workspace or work area around the boat tidy. So, you know, I've been on my best behaviour, but they've told me that it's time to move in, and that's why I'm moving into the water in April, purely to avoid having to pay a lot more money. Also, I need to apologise for being late in this update. Normally I plan to release something every 2 weeks, and I've missed the deadline last weekend. And the reason for that is kind of up there with, well, my dog ate my homework. You might remember in my last episode I introduced you to my new assistant. Well, foolishly I thought I could get away with a temporary fence to enclose part of my yard as a short to medium term solution. However, I now realise that I need to make a proper fence around my property. That fence isn't going to stop you for long, is it? So, 40 metres of fencing later, here we are. One of the challenges I've had is that I've had quite mature shrubs all along my boundary, and as much as I tried to leave as much of the foliage intact as possible, I really had to cut back and remove quite a lot of shrubs and small trees from the borderline. So I really tried to keep as much of the existing shrub and trees that I could, and even though I cut back quite a lot, there's still a lot here. I really love having this space here. It's like a mini woodland, and my dog really loves running through here, and so does my daughter. So come and have a look at this. It's been a little bit difficult trying to get sort of under all of this growth, these sort of low hanging limbs and things. Carrying 20 kilogram bags of post creep while hunched over coming through this space has been quite challenging. But nevertheless, here we are. And so it's quite deceptive because on this side there's an existing stone fence which is probably about 3 feet high. But the other side of this fence wall, it's about 7 foot high, so it's a really large drop. And the other day I caught Ruby standing right on the edge here looking down, almost looking like she was thinking about whether she might be able to test flying or not. So yeah, that's given me a real sense of urgency to get everything secure in the yard and get a really decent fence all the way around, so I don't have to worry about Ruby getting out or injuring herself coming off this wall. I've spent at least the last 16 hours so far doing nothing but digging holes, and that normally involves starting out with this big corkscrew thing, then using this shovel contraption to remove soil and small stones until I hit clay or stone, and then it's over to the big toothpick to break up the clay and stones, and repeat till I get about 500 mil down. And then the fun part can happen, which is putting in the postcrete, and that really only takes about 5 or 10 minutes to set. So it's pretty fast going when I get to the point that I've got a good hole where I can put the post into. So the bottom line is I haven't really had a chance to work on Wanda at all for the past 2 or 3 weekends, and I don't expect realistically to be able to get back to her till my property is secure and all of this fencing is done, because that's really must be a priority for me. And of course that's a real bummer, because I think it's probably going to make my April deadline of being in the water slip. Yeah, there's a real risk of that slipping And also I haven't really enjoyed this process. Normally I love DIY, I love doing new things and getting new tools, and putting up this fence, making this property mine would have been a really enjoyable experience if it wasn't so rushed and under pressure. So yeah, I've just been pushing through this and doing this as fast as I can, and it's been a bit of a bother and a chore rather than a delight. But anyway, let me show you the progress I've made so far. So this is the first section, and on the other side of this fence there's probably about a 2-meter drop, or maybe 1.5 meter drop. So obviously want to keep Ruby out of that section of the garden. And then it goes along to the front of my property. You can see the cars down there. So again, that's a really large, probably 2-meter wall drop. So that's where it finishes. I need to then put 2 more sections in here, 1 more section across there, and then I start with this green mesh, which is what I'm using along the side of the property. Both types of gates or fencing are 1.2 meters high, so that goes around there, along here into this corner. That was the first one I did, and I wasn't game enough to really break through all the stone underneath it, so there's a massive gap there, and I need to get some of these concrete blocks about 200 mils high to put under there. So yeah, lessons learned. I probably should have just cut that fence post a little bit shorter. Never mind. So up we go along the side there, through here where it was before, and it just continually goes up the hill, getting higher and higher. I've got one part here that I need to join up, and then I get to this line of trees, and that's quite difficult. And this is on the other side, and you can see that I've got this tree line really close to the stone wall all the way along there. There's no way that I can get the post hole digger and put posts along here, so I'm just going to somehow attach this to these trees because they're fairly straight and robust. Hey Rubes. And yeah, so that's basically what I've got to do, and then I go along there probably another 6 or 8 meters, and that takes us right back to the end of my block, and that should be able to keep the hound at bay and prevent any unlawful escapes. I don't plan to shoot any more video and put out any more updates of me completing the fencing. I just don't think it's that interesting to watch, and it will also really slow me down by having to set up video equipment and get into those tiny spaces to get cameras and stuff, so it's just not worth it. I just need really the next 2 to 3 weeks to plough ahead and get this finished before I can get back onto Wonder. I think I've told you previously, I have my daughter every second weekend, which is a lot of fun. And that means in every month period, I get 2 weekends to myself where I can go down to Wonder. So really that means the next weekend at least I'll need to finish this fence and get it done and dusted. So probably no more updates for the next 2 to 3 weeks. So yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I just wanted to show you what was happening in my life and why I've had to pause again for Wonder. But really looking forward to getting back to her and getting her in the water. I don't think I'm going to meet the April deadline, so it's going to cost me a little bit much more money than I'd like. But hey ho, such is life. You know, my assistant is keeping me busy, and it's really great fun. But yeah, I really should have got this fencing thing sorted out before getting a dog, but that's the way it goes. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.